The fuck are you talking about? Of course people care about who the villain was in Beverly Hills Cop. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to figure it out.
No one does. No. False. No one does.
I'm telling you right now, I think it's the first Beverly Hills Cop. The bad guy's last name is Maitland. I just can't remember his first name. You could Google it. You should Google that while I'm doing the intro, like a hot boy. Welcome back, everybody. It is the Tacks podcast, episode 35. It is a beautiful Friday, and we are coming back again from our remote locations during this time of chaos. We're your hosts, Rick and Adam. I'm Rick.
Yeah, I got the answer for you.
And that's Adam. And executive intern Logan's still on furlough while this virus thing's going on. But we were just having a discussion about Beverly Hills Cop and the last name of one of the bad guys. I thought his last name was Maitland, but I cannot remember for the life of me what the first name was. Fill me in, Adam.
All right. Well, it's Victor.
Oh, that's
Maitland.
right. Victor Maitland. Yeah, that's like I feel like that was that's a popular bad guy's name in the late 80s, early 90s. It was like just names like that, Victor, and like just like names that kind of have like a bite to them, I guess you could say that name has.
Yeah, I guess.
Who knows? Maybe I'm just high on pills.
Yeah, I mean, no, that was one,
What?
villain's name, but it's not like, it's the consensus.
Whatever, dude. I'm just saying that like back then, bad guys had short, sharp, kind of like biting names, or they had like weird.
Did they?
Yeah, I mean, think about other bad guys in that time frame, like Hans Gruber. They had like just kind of like weird, imposing names. I feel like Victor Maitland is a very like imposing name, especially for the character he played. He's like some fucking sociopath who's really into art and stuff. It's like it fit his character. I think a lot of those names fit the time frame in which they were being like shot. A lot of those movies. It's a good action film bad guy name. Whatever. What the fuck do you know?
Well, I'm just trying to think. Like, I mean, what was the name of the villain in like Speed?
Oh, fuck. What was it? You might have to pop another Google on that one because I don't remember. I can see the actor in my head. I can't remember his name.
Well, they're going with Howard Payne was the name.
Okay. See, yeah, that's like a quintessential 90s bad guy name, I feel like.
Yeah, Dennis Hopper's the guy who played him.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, fucking Payne. That's a
Max Payne. You want to talk about a good video game?
Oh, yeah.
Max Payne.
Yeah.
Dude, those games were tight when we were younger, dude.
Yeah, dude, that was another one of those, like, one of the first games to implement the slow motion, like, bullet time kind of shit from, like, The Matrix. That was,
yeah, dude.
And the premise of that game was so dark, too. Like, this detective's family gets murdered, and he just goes on this, like, drinking and he's drinking, shooting, doing peels. Like, the entire video game, you're just running around trying to get peels so that you don't die. And it's basically you're not getting legitimate medical help either. You're running around this video game taking painkillers and killing bad guys, or like what's presumed to be bad guys. It could be said that Max Payne's he's kind of an anti-hero in that regard.
He's definitely an anti-hero, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, you basically had to chemically induce yourself without the supervision of a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, Rockstar hit it out of the park with that game. It's just so...
Oh, Rockstar hit it out of the park. They hit...
That's the one game that they did all right with.
They hit everything out of the fucking park.
Prepare for the hate mail. Fucking I remember even with like the shitty graphics back in the day, like which were breathtaking at the time, but like even those shitty graphics, like the first like couple of like when you're learning about the scene and what had happened to his family and stuff, like the cut scenes and shit where he walks in to find his family slew. And like he gets all angry, and it's just, I don't know, they painted a really dark picture with that game, but it was really awesome.
It was awesome. That was a good game.
Definitely one that I'd like to see remade. I'd like to see a better brushed up version of like him walking into the house to find that his family's dead. He opens up the door.
He's dead.
Cue the intro credits. My family.
Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, but before we move on, there I wanted to touch on a subject because this is something we were talking about a little bit the other day. But so last week we did this episode called Cancer Wig, and we ripped on this show for basically like what we saw as exploiting. This bitch was basically exploiting the fact that her friend had cancer and was also a whore. And someone that Adam and I both know got on a social media platform and just in the comments of one of our sound clips from the show was like super offended that we were going after, or I guess basically what he thought we were doing was like we were making fun of cancer as a whole. And the reason I wanted to talk about this was because I've encountered this a few times since we've been doing this show. Like sometimes every once in a while, somebody will reach out and essentially they're just saying, hey, I'm offended. I didn't like that you said so-and-so. But I wanted to point out something that all of these people have in common when they do this. They never send it through a direct message. They always have to do it on like comment sections. They always have to do it where like they can be seen and it's out in the open. You know what I mean? Like they're trying to rally or like virtue signal other people to jump in on their little fight. And
Yeah. They're trying to make a scene.
exactly. And in this latest one that I'm talking about, this was clearly somebody who was intentionally trying to like virtue signal and in the past has made horrendous jokes about not only cancer but a multitude of other things that we find funny to make fun of on the show and stuff like that too, but is now implementing the whole it's funny until it happens to me argument that we see some people turning to, how they're like, oh, I didn't gain perspective on this until it happened to me. You don't get to claim that. You also don't get to be the gatekeeper of comedy when you yourself don't do anything in the name of comedy. You don't get to be judge and jury on a comedy show when you yourself don't contribute to anything and don't try to make people laugh in your own right. It's not your area of expertise.
Right. I mean, yeah, come on, dude. Look, comedy is not e- every slice of comedy is not going to be for everybody. You know, it's a lame analogy, but yeah, some people like pepperoni and cheese, some like, fucking sardines on their pizza,
Some people are like you and they just like cheese pizza.
No, I like pepperoni on mine, and I
right.
get it. No,
But
but
that
you know what
right
I'm
there,
saying.
somebody right there would have a problem. Oh, pedophilia is not funny. I'm sorry, but yeah, as far as like me talking to my co-host and who else is my best friend about being a pedophile, even though like obviously neither of us are pedophiles, is that going to stop us from calling each other pedophiles? No. You know why? Because it's fucking funny.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, look, it's an attempt. Whether you think it's funny or not is irrelevant. It's an attempt at a joke.
Right.
That's a full stop right there. So, it's about the attempt at a joke that should be. You don't have to like it. You don't have to do it. It's not, if it's not your thing, it's not your thing. So you just move on. So it's an attempt at a joke.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing is that because it is an attempt at a joke, that right there means there's no ill will intended. The only intention behind it is to make somebody laugh or to take the power out of something that would normally
Right.
cause fear or sadness. That's how a lot of people handle shit in the world. You have to laugh at the adversity and you have to laugh at all the dark shit that happens, or else you're just going to be a victim of it. You're going to be a victim of your own surroundings, and life would be very bleak if we couldn't make fun of the very things that we fear.
Right. Yeah, it would be terrible, dude.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it just I don't know. I wanted to talk about it because it just pissed me off that someone who actually personally knows me got offended, but not until they were experiencing the very thing that we were making light of.
Right. They
And
thought everything else was funny up until if it impacted them, it's now not funny.
which is such a weak way to live your life. And
Well, look, it's if it's not funny for you, that's fine. But you know what? Then you say it's not funny to me. You don't need to tell someone that. You don't need to post. You don't need to grandstand about that.
right,
That's something different. Like if I don't think something's funny, I'm not like, "Pff, I better tweet this motherfucker and say this ain't funny. No, I'm just like, "Pff,
well, yeah,
okay.
that's a good point.
So and I move on. Like, it doesn't bother me. I don't think it was funny. I don't feel the need to address that with that person or whatever, that entity. Like, why?
On a
What do
public
you
platform.
exactly on a public platform? What does it even matter?
Well, that right there,
Why?
the fact that it even took place on a public platform lets me know that his attempt was very disingenuous and his outrage is very disingenuous because he
Right.
needed attention for it. He couldn't like contact me. He's got my phone number. Like he couldn't contact me directly and be like, "Hey, I felt a certain way towards this," and have an actual discussion. He had to do this weird virtue signaling or like this grandstanding, like you're saying,
Exactly.
on a public platform because he wanted to look like the good guy. Well, I'm sorry, dude, you're not. No one is.
Right.
You know, we're
Well,
all
what you just said is the best thing. That's what it was. It was virtue signaling. That's what it is. That's the definition. It was virtue signaling. Like, why?
it's
What?
an age old fucking attempt to
You're white knighting, dude. You're white
Yeah.
knighting. Like, stop.
Yes.
You don't need to do that. That's not. What? Why would you waste your time?
Well, that question can be asked to a multitude of people. For some reason, people love to be offended, man. They're actively looking for things to be offended by because they want to take a public stance on it and be lauded for something. It's just like anything else. It's like religion and all this other horseshit. People need something to latch onto to make themselves feel important. Like their existence isn't going to be overlooked when they're dead and gone.
You're exactly right. I mean, it's bizarre. To you and I feel like it's somewhat bizarre to have the need to voice your opinion publicly.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, okay, well, we're doing a podcast. I'll say something's fucking stupid,
Yeah.
but someone has a choice to listen to this. You know, if you're posting on someone's what their art is, what they're trying to create as an art,
Mm-hmm.
and you know it's corny, I guess, but this is a form of art, right?
Right. Well, it's certainly a form of expression.
There's all kinds of art, whether it's great art, whether it's a Picasso or what we do, which is garbage. But no, but it's an attempt at art. So, but it's an attempt at art. So it's like an attempt to, put stuff out there, but it's not an attempt to criticize in the sense that if I see someone else's work, I'm not going to say the joke. I'm not going to call someone out for trying to make a joke.
Right.
I'll call someone out if like they have an incorrect, fact, right?
Yeah.
Or they have, some kind of weird perspective on something. Yes, we will analyze that and we will make fun of that all day. But if someone's trying to make a joke, fuck, come on.
Yeah, we're not trying to fucking rally against people.
I'm not shitting on someone. I mean, if it's not funny, I don't care. But if it's so corny that it's funny, I might want to highlight it.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. We riff on shit and we expose a lot of phonies, I would say too. But that's the thing is like it's all done in good-natured ribbing. Even though some of the shit we say is horrendous and like obviously when I make jokes like, oh, I hope there's a tumor growing on your brainstem, I don't actually hope there's a fucking tumor growing on your brainstem. Like you can't actually go out into the world thinking that we truly believe these things. We want these things to happen to one another. It's insane. It's insane that we even have to bring this up and even talk about it. But
it's not insane because people are so literal and it's not connected to a generation.
Right.
It's across the spectrum. There's people that are just, and you know this, Rick. I mean, you experience it probably every day. There's people from every generation that know what humor is, and there's people from every generation that don't know what
context is. They don't know what context is.
Exactly. Well, right. They don't. Yeah, it may not be funny to you, but X, Y, and Z. Like, you don't need to pursue it.
Right.
Like, you move on. But yeah, there's a lot of people that just don't understand even anything.
Well, there's just, the long and short of it is that there's just a lot of phony people out there, and they're going to shift and change to try and blend in with what everyone else is doing and what everyone else is feeling so that they don't further feel ostracized from the society they're trying to blend in with. That's
I
the
mean,
thing
what if
is.
you're ostrich size, dude? Have
Well,
you
then
seen
you're
an
gonna have
ostrich?
trouble fitting in through doorways and shit, I guess.
Probably.
Ew.
They lay big eggs too, dude. I'm just saying, scramble up a fucking ostrich, dude.
Just scramble up you, dude. I think I'm glad we got to talk about that for a second because that kind of shit always pisses me off. I hate when people try to gatekeep comedy.
You can't be. I mean, comedy is something different. You cannot be a gatekeeper of it.
You can be a gatekeeper of it.
No, here's the thing. Yeah, okay, fine, but yeah, I got it. But like,
just
I
bombing
don't
one
want to
after
be.
the other, dude.
I just don't want to be corny about it. Like Patrice O'Neill had a lot of good shit to say about free speech. Like when it comes to comedy, like, yeah, it wasn't funny maybe, but it was an attempt at comedy.
Right.
It's different. It's not something that has these malicious like intentions, right? So
Yeah. Well, just knowing just the fact that you know something is being done out of an attempt at comedy, that's all the context you need to not be
yeah,
offended.
yeah. Look, you and I, we go to comedy shows. We used to go to comedy shows all the time. We can't now, but like, or just we make attempts at trying to be funny. It's like we'll be like that. We'll fuck each other up for a joke that fucking car crashes, but
Yeah, that's part of
no
the
one's
that's part of
gonna,
it.
yeah, you and I are never gonna say like, hey, man,
You're
look,
so unfunny. I don't want to be your friend anymore.
I'm offended. No, I may do that. I may say, dude, look, you're not funny. Like, look, I can't do this anymore.
Adam's going solo.
That this may come soon. Just so, you're not funny. No, but you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying. I think the call cut out for a second. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
What the fuck happened?
I have no idea. I started going on a rant, and then I noticed you weren't replying.
Yeah, it just like the call cut out, and I don't know what the fuck happened. Go ahead though.
What were we talking about? We were talking about. I'm sorry. I just got on like a hard tangent about like the free speech of comedy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know. That the call cut out for a second, but I guess we will keep it rolling. Let's go ahead and get into the bad news.
Get a shirt.
Well, I've got some good news and some bad news.
Okay, give me the bad news.
What's the bad news?
They're dead.
This whole thing fucking sucks. I mean, this is the biggest pile of shit.
All right. So we've got, let's go ahead and start it out with Amazon employees plan online walkout to protest firings and treatment of warehouse workers. I think this is one we could have seen coming from a mile away, right?
Probably from 100 miles away, but yeah.
So recently, we know that there's been a lot of backlash from Amazon employees due to work conditions, unsafe work conditions, and also just the overall like. I feel like they treat these people as subhuman, as far as the standard we hold. Most companies, too. I mean, Amazon doesn't seem to have to follow a lot of these rules, and they seem to get away with a lot in terms of how they treat their employees. But recently they fired some employees that were rallying together and kind of starting to unionize, as it were, and they were fighting for better work conditions and just better treatment in general. So that has sparked outrage amongst a ton of other Amazon employees, and I guess now what's happening is they're planning these online walkouts, which I don't know what a fucking online walkout is. Does that mean they just stop showing up, or they just stop ordering things, or what is this?
Online, I saw this earlier today. I'm like, I'm not sure what that means. Like an online walkout.
It looks like a group of Amazon employees are calling for workers to walk out on April 24th in protest of the company's labor practices. The group, Amazon Employees for Climate Justice, is calling for the company to reinstate workers who were fired after they spoke out against Amazon and to show support for warehouse workers. Last week, Amazon fired 2 leaders of the group, Marin Costa and Emily Cunningham, for repeatedly violating internal policies. I'm imagining those internal policies are literally just like, hey, don't collectively come together and bitch about what's going on here, and certainly don't bring it out to the public.
Yeah, I mean, come on. With Amazon, dude, it's... I mean...
Well, it's like...
Jeff Bezos is the... I mean, I believe... I don't know if he's still... I mean, because he got a divorce, so I don't know how much money he took. They got,
he's still the richest man on the planet, even after divorce.
Yeah, so, I mean, the guy's doing all right. Like, how can you not put more money into your companies? And,
well, that's the thing is, like, I feel like
take care of these people a little bit better. I mean, you're doing the best of everyone, and you're still paying people a pretty low wage. And the sad thing is, Amazon's super efficient. Why pay them a little more? Treat them a little bit better. What do you lose? You
money.
Don't lose anything. I mean,
money. That's
you do lose money, but dude, you don't understand. Like even $1 billion. Do you like that is yes, it's a lot of money, but do you understand the magnitude of how much money that is? No one does. Like that can just one of those just a $1 billion slice is in like a astronomical amount of money.
Right.
You can do everything you want for the rest of your life. Your kids, them, everyone could do everything they want for generations.
Right.
He has the most billions of those.
No, of course. And that the thing is, though, is like I feel like he's been so corrupted by his wealth. That's why we're not seeing any change in terms of like how well he treats his employees. And that's why we're seeing all this dissent. But the problem is that what?
I'm sorry. No, look how his body structure is morphed.
Yes.
Look at Amazon interviews, early 2000s. He's just like very like slouchy, like balding.
Yeah, he went from a beta to an alpha in a matter of a few billion.
Now he's like jacked and like, well, the guy's, I mean, potentially or allegedly, I don't know if he's taking any kind of like,
steroids,
just testosterone replacement therapy.
You think he's got low T?
I don't
think Bezos got low T, has trouble getting it up.
That's all I'm saying. Like he's now jacked and he's walking around bizarre. Amazon has contracts with the CIA. That's not a myth. That's not a conspiracy. You can look that up. It's public information.
Yeah.
Like for their servers. So, I mean,
right.
multi-million-dollar. So this guy has crocheted his way into relationships in, the government, or they came to him, be like, look, dog.
I think, that's more likely what happened.
You're the richest motherfucker. You want to see a video about Kennedy? This is what
you think they brought him into the room that ages presidents?
Yeah.
They played him that tape that puts fucking 10 years on a president's face overnight.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we get it. You're really rich. You're the richest person in the world. Here's Kennedy. Look what happened to him. Here's the real videos behind that.
What actually happens is you reach a certain amount of wealth, and they invite you to Epstein's rape island, and they bring you into one of the catacombs, and they bring you into a dark room, and a man walks out of the shadows with a trench coat on, and you hear, "I'm going to show you definitively that there was thermite paint on those steel I-beams in the trade towers." And then Jesse Ventura proceeds to break down every season of conspiracy theory for you and sets you on your way. And you're that much wiser.
On one of Jeffrey Epstein's islands?
Oh my God. Why did I even think that trying to be humorous was going to land anywhere with you?
No, I mean, no, you've made some like really good attempts at it. I mean,
well, it's impossible when you have an autistic fucking nobody for a co-host who just leaves you hanging after every line. It's kind of fucking impossible. And then you got the fucking dog squealing in the background. That's going to be super cute.
No one's hearing that, by the way.
It's fucking amazing. I'm certainly hearing it, so the audience is definitely hearing it.
False.
Literally every 2 seconds, I've got to hear an animal that's been abused its entire life in the background. It's its only chance to fucking get a message of help to the outside world.
First of all, that's not true.
Adam beats the shit out of his animals.
Not true.
That's what I'm going to do. I'll do anything to make the show that much better, even if I have to lie to animal control and have all your animals taken away so I can get a clean fucking episode for a change. I'll do it. I have no problem.
Yeah, I believe you because, you can't handle it, dude.
I can handle it. I can handle professionalism. I can handle clear broadcasting.
You can't because it can't be professional in the venue we're at.
I mean, it could. It's certainly, if I'm capable of it, you're capable of it.
Really?
You could even go out to the cab of your truck. If you wanted to be like super fucking downtown funky stuff Malone about it, you could turn the heat on in your truck and sit in there with the laptop and the microphone in an insulated setting and get clean, crisp audio to put out to the listeners. But you'd rather sit there and slum it in your goddamn dining room with your fucking cats in heat and your beaten dogs that only have about 2 or 3 good fights left in them.
There's definitely no cat in Heath right now.
In Heath?
Yes, Heath Ledger.
Heath? You got cats on sleeping pills dying left and right all over your house.
Making appointments for massages, and then that's how they discover he's dead. Yeah. Oh, no.
Skateboarding around New York City, even fucking Joker makeup on. I hated those. Everybody was like, oh my God, look at Heath Ledger. He's so different. He's just skateboarding around Manhattan with his stupid Joker makeup on. Now it's like any given fucking Wednesday, you can go outside and see some edgelord skateboarding with the Joker paint on his face.
Wow. Yeah. At this point, it's like, they're trying to be edgy about it,
But dude, how long ago did that fucking movie come out? And you still see people painted up like the Heath Ledger Joker like on Halloween to this day. It's timeless.
Yeah, 100%, dude. Like you see them all. People are still trying to run with this.
Yeah, and luckily now the girls have something to look forward to every year too, because Margot Robbie's got that fucking plain bitch run of the mill, like kind of frame to her. So now like her Harley Quinn outfit works for everyone. It's kind of nice, It's literally just a tank top and a fucking pair of shorts. You don't even have to put any real work into it.
Very minimal.
That's a hell of a contribution there, Adam.
Well, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look up.
We should get you more money.
I'm trying to do some research while,
Jesus Christ. You have the comedic presence of a drowning person.
Well, okay. I'm sorry. I'm trying to help. Okay. So it came out in 2008.
Thank you. Fucking.
There you go. You asked about that, so I was trying to look it up.
No, I appreciate it. Normally we have an intern for this, but
yeah.
We're sitting here, we're slumming it. We're slumming it without our intern. We don't make any money, but we have an intern. We're doing everything backwards with this show.
No.
We've already had to furlough an employee.
I guess. I mean, there was furlough, but it wasn't really furloughed. It was furloughed before it was furloughed.
Oh, I'm going to furlough you, man.
I'm just saying, okay, if we make money, fine. Then no one's making any money. We're all furloughed on this podcast.
Fair enough.
Not anything else.
I like how you got super literal into it and just really, really drug it through the ground, drug it through the dirt.
Drug it, not dragged it.
Dragged. Dude, I'm going to drag that dog out into traffic, though. I can tell you that much.
He probably weighs more than you, so.
That's not true at all. Adam has this weird, complex with his animals. Like, everything has to be bigger and everything has to be stronger than everyone else. It's like Adam's way of feeling safe.
First of all, I'll defeat that argument very quick.
Go ahead.
Every one of the animals, besides that dog, are under 35 pounds.
Under anesthesia until fight night.
Yeah, I mean,
no one wants to hear about your silly animals, and go shut that dog up, even if it takes violence.
No.
Another thing that's pissing me off about this whole Amazon thing, this isn't the only thing going on right now with them. There's also, there was an article a few days ago centered around France and how they're trying to pass this thing where essentially they want to fine Bezos $1 million a day for every day he continues to ship non-essential goods instead of prioritizing essential goods. But
Yeah.
you can look at an article like literally a day after that article was written and see that he literally just added another like 28 billion to his fortune or some shit like that. $1 million a day doesn't mean shit to this guy. It's a drop in the bucket.
$1 million a day? No. He's yeah, dude.
He can just keep it going.
It used to be, there used to be the things about Bill Gates, which, it's not really true. If he dropped $100, he'd lose money if he wanted to pick it up. I mean, I don't. What does that even mean? Like he walks and makes money? No. If he stays still, if he goes back to pick up the $100 bill, he's still making money either way.
Yeah, that's a stupid analogy. I hate when people try to make it all weird and like, they really try to give you perspective. Yeah, it's like, hey man, did you realize it would cost more money for him to go back and pick that money? No, it wouldn't, stupid. Shut up. It's still $100. You're gonna bend down and pick it up. I don't care who you are. The only thing I don't bend down to pick up are $1 bills and any sort of change.
Any sort of change?
I'm not.
What if it's like one of those Sacagawea dollars?
I wish you would bend down to pick up better timing, but I wouldn't pick it up. It's still only $1. It's not worth my time. My time is worth more than that. I'm worth more than bending down to pick up $1. That takes too much out of me. I'd rather just keep walking.
Well, these days I'm not picking up any fucking money.
No.
Well, I lied. If I see $20 bill or higher, I'll probably pick it up and just sterilize it.
Adam meant to correct himself. The only thing he's picking up these days is HPV on all of his fingertips. But go ahead.
No. But I really haven't left the house to pick up like denominations of bills.
I would hope not. It's still driving me fucking mad that people are using cash to pay for shit. Literally,
I know, you tell me that all the time. I can't believe that. It's like, why are they?
It's only getting worse too, dude. Like
really?
Yesterday, yesterday
that's
I was
not a good. That's a sign, dude.
Well, it just goes to show you that no matter what's going on, the fucking ignorance.
You're on the front lines. I'm telling you, you're on the front lines.
I know that, and I'm forced to fucking deal with other people's insignificant, weird, stupid, unevolved, can't think of anyone but themselves mentality. I'm on the front lines dealing with that every single day. I had this fat fucking old piece of shit in front of the counter yesterday, and I was down to my last pair of gloves. I had to put up this big sign that said, "Please use card if possible." This piece of fucking shit, he had a card. He had several cards on him. He had like several big bills on him. This fat fucking piece of nothing is going to sit there and lick his thumb and touch $1 bills. With each bill that he touched, he licked his finger and touched it. And he counted out like 20 something dollars in ones. And then he pushes it into the counter and slides it across the counter to me.
Yeah, I mean, even in a non-pandemic situation, I don't lick my hands and touch money. I don't get like this, or like even people who just count, like they'll lick their finger and flip a page, lick a finger and flip a page. Why do you have to lick your finger to flip a page?
Because you're a disgusting fucking subhuman animal and you deserve to be shot.
You can flip a page or flip like through another like denomination of currency. Like you can flip through those without having to lick your finger. I don't get why people lick their fingers to do that.
Because they're just fucking gross cows. And I know I was joking around earlier, and like I was talking about how like when I say I hope bad things happen to people, I don't actually hope that shit happens to them. I want to go on record right now and say I do sincerely hope that guy who did all that horse shit yesterday, I hope he was fucking killed on his way home. I hope that a cement truck ran a light and split his car in half along with his fucking fat, stupid old body. I hope he is scattered somewhere in a ditch. I hate that fucking guy. Adam?
Yeah.
Fucking great timing again. I love that. Yeah, that's really like I'm not gonna like put up with that shit much longer. There's gonna be I'm actually working on a sound clip right now, and there's gonna be like repercussions for every time you just leave me hanging like that.
Well, I was going for the classic dramatic pause.
No, you're going for the classic. Adam doesn't have anything, so he's just going to sit there and look foolish and make me look like an asshole again. That was what you're doing.
I don't think that's true, but
I mean, it seems to be like every 10, 15 minutes or so, you like to drop that in. So like in an hour's time, which these episodes are usually an hour, you can count on like 4 or 5 dead air spaces where the wind gets sucked out of the conversation. We don't even have a hole on this show. And you managed to fill up that slot. You managed to fill the slot of the hole. And I'm telling you right now, I'm working on a sweet sound clip, dude, and you're going to keep this going, and it's going to turn into a fucking bit. And I'm literally going to punctuate it every time you do it. Every time you leave me hanging, I'm going to hit a button, and you're not going to like what happens, dude. I'm telling you right now. All the conversations that we've had, I can cut your sentences up and make you sound like you're saying anything. And I want you to know that. I'm like, dude, there we go. There's going to be repercussions, dude. You're in trouble. You're on notice. Time's up.
You doing a Pesci move?
Well, kind of. I was moving more into like a hashtag Me Too thing.
I thought you were going casino.
I noticed how you still chose to do a long pause after I was done talking too. So like that's just, furthering. You know what it really comes down to is like, it's good that we're at this crazy of a distance, because if you do this shit continuously, as mad as I'm getting behind this microphone right now, I'm completely 100% comfortable just whipping something at you physically. If you were sitting across the desk from me doing this to me, I would throw something at you.
Yeah, but that's the advantage that we have now.
That you have now is you can't be hit with anything. You're not throwing shit at me. Nobody throws anything at Daddy. This is Daddy's house.
I definitely have thrown stuff at you before, and I will throw. I mean, come on. I've thrown stuff at you tons of times.
Except for humor or any kind of support as a co-host.
There'll be very little support.
I know. I'm living through it. Trust me. I know. Another interesting thing about this, I keep bouncing back to this Bezos thing because I keep thinking of new shit. It's to the point now where like I think eventually what's gonna happen is when people start trying to put more and more regulations around his company, eventually what's gonna happen is he's gonna take all that wealth and he's just going to purchase his own country, and then he will be able to do as he pleases with that country. It can be an entire country of just sweatshop like atmosphere. And like none of the world's going to say fucking word one about it, because we're not going to want to do without the convenience.
I would make the argument he already has purchased his own country. He's purchased America.
That's a good point. Yeah. One could argue that is the case.
I mean, he probably pays very little, not personally, but business wise in taxes. It's one of the biggest companies, if not the biggest in the world.
Yeah.
He's the richest person in the world on paper, which we know there's probably richer people out there, not on paper.
Yeah.
Certain areas.
That's a very safe bet.
But he's rich as fuck. But I mean, it just doesn't make any sense.
Well, he's just he's too rich.
Exactly. He's too. He could buy. He could say, I don't know. He could fund everything. I mean, it doesn't matter. It's like it's too much power. But I mean, that's the least of our worries, I guess. I mean, there's too much power through money and a lot of other ways.
Oh, absolutely. That's the biggest hurdle we have to tackle as a people if we want to ever see any real change.
Yeah.
Oh, so you know how we've been touching on the fact that like a lot of people are getting in trouble for like being assholes, like licking fruit or like doing weird shit. You know how we talked about the guy that has the obsessive compulsion that was touching money to his face and touching items to his face, the guy that comes into my shop all the time?
Oh yeah. Yep.
So
100%. Like what?
So
okay. No, sorry.
We made the observation that like this could turn into something where like if he's out in public and people are seeing him do this type of shit, they could make the false assumption that he is purposely trying to like spread infection, even though it's just part of his like obsessive compulsion to do these things. It looks like something similar happened in Baltimore recently. So it says right here, let me pop this article up so you can see it too. Oh, whoops. God damn it. I just clicked out of it.
Anderson Cooper.
I'm fucking stupid. No, that's an ad for stupid CNN. But like, I'm sorry, I just clicked out of the ad. But basically what happened was there was a 70-year-old man and he was on public transportation. He was just on a bus in Baltimore there, and he was coughing a lot. And these two teenage girls on the bus were like, hey, cover your mouth while you're coughing. And the dude said something smart back. And I guess some other guy that was riding the bus with them spoke up. And I guess this other guy was kind of old too. He was like in his 60s or whatever. But he was like, yo, listen to the young ladies and cover your damn mouth. That's disgusting. And so this old dude was like, this old 70-year-old guy was running his mouth on the bus. And so all three of them just jumped him on the bus, just whooped his ass.
What?
They fucked him up. Yeah, apparently.
Shut up, dude.
Yeah, so the 60-year-old guy grabbed him and threw him, and like he lost his balance, and the 70-year-old guy fell and hit his head and went unconscious. And I guess the 14 or the teenage girls put the boots to him a little bit, and then they like got off at the next stop, and everybody just left, and they left this old guy unconscious on the bus.
Yeah. Yeah, at that point, dude, you just got to make a move.
Well, it's bound to happen, man. You know.
Yeah, if you're that age, it's like, well, gotta walk away.
Yeah,
you got no choice.
Well, just in public in general, like I would say, like even now, if somebody was just randomly starting shit with me on public transportation, I would ignore it to the point where like I couldn't ignore it. You know what I mean? If they get up in my face or if they physically touch me, then I'll just kill them right there. But other than that, I'm minding my own business. I don't give a fuck what you got going on over there, what you're trying to bait me into.
Yep.
But
I mean, yeah, in public transportation, you get a lot of vagrants. You know, you get a lot of. I mean, come on, even in Denver, dog. We don't have to talk about the East Coast. Like, you know, like we go down there and like to see a comedy show or something. It's like it's very vagrant. There's a lot of like vagrancy. You know, there's a lot of like people begging for money all the time and stuff.
Yeah.
Like
a lot of fake homelessness too. Like a lot of people like younger than us that have homes, but they go down there and they just pretend to not have jobs all day, and they look like street rats and act like street rats, but they're not homeless and they're not going hungry.
I'm going hungry. No, they're not. Yeah, they're not going hungry. Like they're making. It's just, I'm like, yeah, they're not making in a good like solid living, but
they're also not afraid to steal bread from the mouths of decadents.
They're just it gets weird out there. We've seen fights,
fights.
This is not a Queen Elizabeth let them eat cake or whatever.
Oh yeah, who was that again? I remember we had trouble remembering. Or is it like Marie Antoinette or something?
Yes, obviously, yeah.
Okay. I always forget. Shut up, like you knew. I hate how you always do that sometimes. Like it's like you'll spout off some sort of like third grade knowledge with the arrogance of a Mensa candidate. Like we're so wrong for not being able to recall the information so quickly. Like Lord Adam.
A third grade knowledge? No.
That's third grade knowledge.
Dog.
I'll give you like up to middle school maybe. But no, don't come over here with your pithy arrogance, acting like you know so much, you average no one. You fucking asshole.
I mean, you're right, dude. I don't know anything about anything.
Me either.
Yeah.
So how dare you?
I mean,
fucking shitbag.
Look, dog, I watch Family Feud
Do you?
every night. I know everything.
Steve Harvey and that big ass mustache.
Show me blue. That's what I watch every night. I fall asleep to Steve Harvey and his stupid mustache.
Oh, I love it, dude. I love the episodes. I watch it a lot at work. I love the episodes where you can tell Steve Harvey's just phoning it in for the episode, like he just doesn't feel like it, or like when he doesn't like a family. You know how sometimes he just doesn't like the family he's dealing with?
Yes. Well, you talk, dude. It's not even maybe he does or doesn't like the family. It's like, because you have to know, like, dude, he shoots like 5 of those episodes a day at least.
Right.
So he's running he's running multiple episodes a day. Like he has to like wardrobe change. The one family carries on to the next like show.
We need another suit with giant fucking shield like buttons.
Yeah, give me a nice with some strong shoulder pads.
Yeah, I like how every one of his buttons on his fucking gaudy suits looks like a Roman circular shield you'd see in like the Colosseum or something.
Yeah, I mean Roman, Greek, one of those. Roman shields were rectangular.
I'll be holding open auditions for the co-host of the Brass Tacks podcast. If anyone wants to email me,
I'm just saying
What were you
Greek
s-
shields were actually circular.
Oh,
Roman
okay.
shields were rectangular.
Okay, hold on. No, I'm trying to give me a second. I gotta care for a minute. I'm trying to catch
Okay.
up. Fucking ball sack. Let's get to some
I'm
other.
still I'm just saying I'm still looking at Anderson Cooper. Sorry.
Whatever, dude. You keep looking at stupid Anderson Cooper and his dumbass mom. That weird, like, have you seen those weird pictures of him as a child, like sitting on his mom's bed, and there's all this like weird occult shit in the room?
I haven't, but I mean, I think he's a Vanderbilt, isn't he?
Yes, he is. Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. Yep.
They got a
No one
couple of
talks-
clams. They got a couple of bucks in the bank
No one
account.
talks about that. That was some fucking dynasty, basically.
Well,
Like-
yeah, I mean, a lot of these people, a lot of these public figures that we see, and a lot of these like news anchors and just people that are on a public platform in general come from like acting dynasties or real estate moguls or just people that are in entertainment for generations after generation after generation. It's a crazy thing. That's one of the biggest problems we face as a society is that a lot of this information to draw these conclusions as to what the problem is and who's at the head of this fucking evil serpent we call corporate America. You need not go any further than just fucking look at the names of some of these people and how they're all related throughout time.
Yep.
It's insane.
Oh, dude. Yeah. There's very, I mean, you could just start at like the 1900s or late 1800s and connect families and be like, that is very bizarre. But yeah, if you go back even further, like the original families of like the Mayflower or like the Nina, the Pinta, the Santa Maria,
Yeah.
or whatever.
The Rage Against the Machine song.
Yeah,
Now
I mean,
testify.
you look at descendants of those people, and you have presidents, in that category, which is bizarre.
You got a lot of people from the Skull and Bones.
Yeah, skull and bones. What are you gonna do?
They make people masturbate inside of coffins while they're laying on their backs, telling their deepest, darkest secrets.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah.
Well, none of this does. Just like this right here. Jacksonville beaches reopen in Florida as state begins easing stay-at-home restrictions. Look at these simple fucking Florida people. That is Florida if I've ever seen it. Represented in that small line there at that beach access. That's Florida to a T.
Dude, I was talking to my mom earlier, and she said the same thing. She brought this up.
Of course she did. She's a smart
like,
woman.
She's like, this is ridiculous. Like, yeah, she brought up that people are going to beaches in Florida.
She's not too far from Florida. So I'm imagining this is kind of
far. She's pretty far.
Okay, whatever, dude. I'm just saying, the coastal states, whatever, pretty
Fair
close.
enough.
Half a day's drive away.
Yeah.
But the thing is like I feel like a lot of these we're going to see this happen up and down the East Coast or any of these coastal towns because it's kind of the same
tourist towns, right?
Oh my god, yes. So it's the same principle as what they dealt with in Jaws. Like you've got this massive threat that threatens the livelihood of your entire city. But maybe if everyone's careful and not an asshole about it and you space out across the coast, you might be okay. So it's kind of like the same situation where they're like, we can't really afford to forego all the tourism, but we also, we're facing, they're kind of having to make the call between like, do we stay health conscious and just lose out on the money? Or it looks like,
dude, you're putting them in a spot that's like, their back's on the wall, dude. These like small companies, Wings, Eagles, for a South Carolina example. These guys, they depend on is people coming in during the summer months.
Right.
Well,
that's a big problem right now. I mean, like we're seeing,
like what are they going to do down there, dude?
Well, that's the thing. There's nothing they can do aside from try to have a normal tourist season as they would.
They can't have a normal tourist season. What are they going to do?
Well, I know that. You know that. But that's the thing. They're going to try their best to recoup any loss instead of just sitting there and taking it on the chin and being safe about it, which at the end of the day, what we have to be able to do is everyone needs to stay the fuck home and stop going outside. But what the problem is there's no safety net provided by our country in times like this because our fucking politicians and trusted leaders are too busy embezzling money and hiding fucking money and amassing wealth while we all languish away. That, you know, our only choice is to fucking go out there and risk our lives so that we can make a meager fucking restitution instead of being able to, we can't afford to stay safe as American citizens. What the fuck is that about?
No.
In the world's richest country. What the fuck is that?
You're 100% right. I mean, dude, there's people, like you said, like what you're doing, that have to be exposed to that every day. And then you hope that the owner, which you're lucky in that sense, have good standards that they'll allow things, you can put things up and things like that. But at the end of the day, I mean, what choice you have? You work at even like a grocery store, man, what are you going to do? And you're the most exposed individuals.
Right.
You know, I'm including you in that. Like, you're the most exposed individuals. You're putting yourself out there every day. And
given the choice, I wouldn't. Trust me, if I could
what?
afford to be safe, if I could afford to stay home and wait this thing out,
Right.
I absolutely 100% fucking would. But guess what? I can't count on my country to provide for us in times of need, so I've got to go out there and I have to expose myself because I don't have any other fucking choice.
You have to earn a paycheck.
If I
So
literally,
you have to,
if I
you
make
go out there, like,
if I start making any more money than I do right now, I lose my health insurance. What kind of fucking incentive is that for me to continue going on? And like, what kind of fucking horseshit is that for a developed nation?
It's not. Well, a developed nation, it's supposed to be the, allegedly the most wealthy and most powerful nation. So
yeah, only for the fucking handful of pieces of shit that run it.
yeah, we're not. Yeah, we're talking for a fraction of the 1%, a very small fraction. That's who it works for.
Yeah, it's just insane. It's maddening. It's one of those things that, like, I could bitch about it for hours, but like it wouldn't do me any good because all it does is just drive my fucking temperature through the roof. And I get so angry and upset about it because all of these, like all the resolutions, every single thing that needs to be done to fix it is so clear cut and obvious. But due to greed and narcissism and psychopathy, it just will not happen.
No, that's it. I mean, it's all blocked.
Oh, you got the corona, dude. You get nasally.
No, that was a deep cough.
And the Amazon package infected you, dude. It was the Switch box. You bought yourself a treat and the fucking Nintendo Switch gave you the corona.
No, it's impossible. I wiped it down. So, no.
Way to take it literally, Adam. Jesus Christ. You know, I know you own a fucking rifle. I know you got one in your house somewhere. You should do me a favor. As soon as we're done recording tonight, you should see if your big toe fits through the trigger guard.
We got it. Kurt Cobain.
Okay?
All right. We got it.
Do it in the window. Do it in the window, too, so Curtis sees you and he can breathe a sigh of relief.
No. I mean...
Make sure you put one through that fucking dog ears and then go ahead and do the right thing.
Well, you bring up Kurt Cobain. I remember...
You brought up Kurt Cobain!
Well, I kind of did, but you were suggesting the actions of Kurt Cobain.
Yes. And the actions of like R. Bud Dwyer and many other people.
R. Bud Dwyer.
Yeah, he's the first guy to ever shoot himself in the head. Kurt Cobain, oh, he's so hurt. So dark and tormented.
No, Kurt Cobain's stuff. Like, I got it. You killed yourself, fine. Or Courtney Love. I don't know.
I'd love for you to get the Kennedy haircut. Bag of shit.
I mean...
Yeah, let's just sit there in silence again.
Up until that point, I mean, they had a good run.
No, they didn't. They didn't have a good run.
Are you sure about that?
pretty positive.
Well, okay.
All right. Let's move on. China
it's
made...
Not,
oh my God. What?
I was going to do... It's not what your country can do for you. It's what you can do for your country. That's my joke.
I wish I had a gunshot sound effect. That would have been more appropriate. No? All right, there we go. Jesus Christ. China may have conducted low-level nuclear test, U.S. claims. State Department report points to activities at China's Lapner test site last year, though it does not have proof. Okay. And I hate pronouncing like the areas in which these tests are occurring and stuff like that, because there's no way to not sound like a racist when a white guy tries to pronounce a Chinese sounding city. It just doesn't work.
Dude, it's not even just a Chinese city. I have sometimes when I for work I have to talk to certain people.
What kind of people?
I have to like figure out, because it could be 3 different things that their last name could be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's difficult to decipher. So I have to ask like a Chinese friend and be like, hey, how would you say this name? Like,
it's like white men can't jump.
yeah, Guilo, dude. Yeah. Definitely Guilo.
Meanwhile, like all the other Asian dudes in the office are like, oh, yo, check this out. I just told this round eye that his guy's name was Penis Pump or something like that. You get fired.
No. No. I don't want. Never mind.
So getting back to this, the U.S. State Department has claimed China may have secretly conducted a low-yield underground nuclear test in an accusation likely to further inflame already poor relations between Washington and Beijing. A report on arms control compliance does not offer proof, but points to circumstantial evidence of excavations and other stepped-up activity at China's Lapner test site.
I believe it.
Yeah, I mean, of course. I mean, all the world's economies are destabilized through this virus thing. Of course, why wouldn't you capitalize on that weakness?
Well, one, we're going to have seismic data. There's stuff all over that we would have seismic data.
Yeah, and also like through ultrasound technology, you can see like bunkers and crazy shit like that.
Yeah, but they wouldn't know to search there if it was like, but there's spy satellites that like probably pick up that stuff as well.
That was my favorite POD album. Satellite. Go ahead.
No, I mean, I got it. Payable on delivery,
But this isn't good. It's not good.
It's not a good sign of the times.
Well, the thing is even if they're not conducting these tests, it's still not good to report these things without concrete evidence, because it's further, like it says, it's already inflaming a volatile situation that we don't need. The last thing we need during a global pandemic is a fucking world war, especially one in 2020. We have, how long it's been since we've dropped a nuke, since a nuclear weapon has been like triggered in wartime. Can you imagine?
Yeah, I actually do know how long, so go on.
Well, the thing is like, can you imagine how catastrophic it would be, and like the technology we have yet to even see as people?
No.
What would be implemented? Like, our imaginations cannot conceive of the destruction we're capable of right now.
It would be a disaster, Richard. It doesn't matter. There's mutually assured destruction amongst the actual countries that have nuclear weapons. Like, it's a disaster if one goes off, like a missile fired one or something.
Oh, domino effect. Everyone's getting it.
That's it. It's game over. Lights out.
A lot of keys are getting turned at the same time.
Yeah. Now, if you follow Tom Clancy's book, Sum of All Fears, if there's a nuclear weapon that goes off like a planted one in that case, it was a vending machine in a stadium that went off and wiped out like 60,000 people.
Yeah.
Now that's a different story. It's hard to track down. It's hard to source, but you definitely could source the material.
It would just take longer.
Right. But if you wipe out 60,000 people in a stadium, you have fallout for 10 miles, maybe. So if it's in a city, then it's millions of people. If it's a large city, that's what basically the Sum of All Fears was all about. But yeah, I mean, that's very scary. Yeah, China has nuclear weapons, we all know, but those aren't the ones. If they launch them, everyone launches them. It's lights out for all of them as well as for everyone else. So that no one's scared about that. That's kind of, the thing with people. Yeah, we all have nuclear weapons that are developed. So it's all based on proxy wars. So, you go to war with a second world or third world country, not necessarily you directly, but you influence one party in those third world countries that are going to war at each other.
I'll tell you what we could do to prevent all of this is kind of like they did in Platoon when they fly in playing the music before they napalm the village. We could put you into a helicopter. And no, I'm going to finish my line. We could put you into a helicopter and fly you into these villages, just speaking on a fucking megaphone, and lull them to sleep with your nonsensical irritants, and then we'll just come in through the quiet of night and execute all of our sleeping counterparts.
I would agree. That's fine. The people may want to cite the proper movie to watch. You said Platoon.
That's was that correct. Apocalypse Now? That was Apocalypse, wasn't it?
Yep, certainly was.
I shit the bed, everyone. Sorry. That's my fault.
It is, but
I blundered.
No, but it does bug me, man. That there's a lot of tension. You see, actually, Iran. There was a lot of tension, like in the naval sense, where we have ships there, and we were swarmed. Not swarmed. I mean, come on.
But just like, I know what you're talking about.
But harassed by Iranian naval vessels. China's naval vessels have been really fucking around.
A lot of posturing going on.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of posturing with China, even with Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, those sea areas. They've been, I think they may have shut Sanka, not Sanka like the drink from.
Shut up. Oh my God. Just get on with the story. They sank a boat recently.
Yeah, I think they sank a maybe South Korean fishing boat.
How dare you bring up a fucking Sanka reference, by the way? You should be beaten to death with sticks for that.
Sanka. Google it.
No one listening knows what fucking Sanka is. All of our listeners are 132 years old. Fucking Sanka. I wish you'd tie bricks to your feet and jump in the water in Sanka.
There's no water around here. There's just...
You live right next to a reservoir.
It's frozen.
Well, I'll go out there real quick, drop my mixtape on it, and I'll find you a little place to fucking bathe.
Oh, yeah.
Sink you down there.
Up that area, that's for sure.
My singles are hot. But, all right, so, as to be expected, China's dismissing all these claims, saying that it's a bunch of bullsugar. And, I'm inclined to think that, no, of course they're doing something fucky down there. China's notorious for doing one thing right after they say something else. That's just how they operate. They don't give a fuck. They only have themselves to answer to.
No. Notorious.
Shut up. Now we're segueing into a Duran Duran. I need this blood to survive.
Yeah. Well, okay. So how I follow ADV China, and those guys, Lao Wei.
Yeah.
And Serpentine.
What?
Those. Well, I'm just saying they're reporting, and those guys are saying China's was putting they want from house to house or apartment to apartment, and put Africans in they're we have to quarantine you. We're going to put you in these hotels and or whatever. The people that have lived there that just happen to be African.
What?
They've lived there, say in China for 10 years. They've done all the stuff to prove they're clear of the virus and stuff.
Right.
And they there was this whole thing and then some spokespeople from Africa came out and what are you doing? Because China has a huge, I don't know if anyone knows this, China has a huge influence on Africa.
Yeah, yeah.
They
I
have,
mean, they're in
they have
Africa. They're buying up constantly. I mean, they're
yes,
buying up land left and
mines.
right, starting companies
Yes,
left and right.
exactly. Yeah, shell companies potentially. I
Yeah,
maybe or there's
it's been happening for a
like
while.
like mining stuff and everything. Where I mean, they've been trying to, and Africa, these nations, Africa, let them in, and they've basically exploited them for years. And then Africans that move to China get quarantined, and it's like it says on like fast food restaurants, no Africans allowed and stuff.
What the fuck? So it's like
Yeah,
1950s over there in China.
right. Yeah.
That's another thing
So
too. Is like, why doesn't China get as much shit as they should be getting for being as racist as they
they're
are? I feel like
they're dropping bills on the World Health Organization. They're dropping bills in that sense.
well, they're just
With the
corrupting
UN
everything they
type of
touch.
yeah. It's
The Chinese government is just such a fucking blight on the planet Earth. Not that we're any better. I mean, for a lot of different reasons,
well,
but
I would say we're better, but it's not. We're
just
not.
it's not as
We're
I
not
wouldn't
great.
say we're not as blatant
We're not-
about it.
Well, we're not great.
No, of course not.
But I mean, a doctor, if a doctor complained about how we were doing treatment for coronavirus, they're not going to disappear and die.
True. Well, I mean, it depends on who is at the end of that criticizing.
Potentially.
All right, like I guess like you can see certain things like there were certain characters that played a part in the whole like Clinton email scandal that ended up dying, like Seth Rich and shit like that. Like these people who died under mysterious circumstances for being outspoken about a certain thing. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily true here in America. It's just very circumstantial, more so than in China.
It's not necessarily true. No, yes, it's high level stuff like that. Yes, it's possible that they'll take you out, but
Or like
if
Epstein.
you're
Epstein's a perfect example.
well, yeah, I watched a really good podcast with Eric Weinstein.
Yeah.
He had
Weinstein.
it's about yes, his name was Weinstein, not Weinstein. He did a whole probably like a little over 60 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
He met him once, and he's a smart guy, and he had like kind of like a take on what the whole thing was about, like what transpired. I guess maybe like an intelligence agency like developed him, and then groomed him, not knowing that this guy was actually like a pedophile, and they because he was a hedge fund manager allegedly.
Right.
No background in that at all. No background in he was a math teacher at a private school prior.
Right.
And then he just becomes this huge highfalutin hedge fund manager that what he says that Eric Weinstein's kind of like saying that this is the property ownership of someone who's I would say is worth close to almost billions rather than what his stated net worth was.
Right.
And he never acted like either. He didn't act like a billionaire. He didn't act like a millionaire, but he was very intelligent, but he seemed to know nothing about hedge funds.
Yeah, that's the weird
finance.
thing.
He was just a very persuasive type of individual.
Yeah, no, exactly. He's a captivating man. Most people have said, very, very approachable and likable and shit like that. But that's all it takes to get into the belly of the beast. And I also heard a pretty shocking rumor. There's actually a rumor going around that he, in fact, didn't actually kill himself. I don't know if you've heard that or not.
I mean, I'm familiar. I've heard he didn't kill himself.
Yeah.
He's still alive. I mean,
the bit was supposed to end with me. It was supposed to end back there.
Well, you're welcome for the t-shirt.
No,
so.
you're okay. Well, that's true. I do appreciate that, but I don't appreciate the tag. You earned yourself a crash.
You're welcome for the t-shirt. So
no, I enjoyed the t-shirt a lot. It's one of my favorites. It's very soft.
I'll let you know. I wore the Tuesdays with Story shirt you got me.
Yeah.
This whole week, dude.
Every day.
Yeah.
Did you wash
It's
it?
a really no. Well, it's now in the wash, but like, it was so comfortable. It's a comfortable. Am I going? I'm not going anywhere.
No, that's good. I'm glad you enjoy it like that. It felt like a really comfortable shirt. I feel like that company gives you quality shirts, but it's like you have to jump through a million different hoops to get your fucking merchandise from those people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's ridiculous. But let's go ahead and move on to Baloney Boys.
Baloney Boys.
This week's Baloney Boys are the protesters in Lansing, Michigan. And I want to make it clear that I'm not saying everybody that's protesting right now in Lansing is a Baloney Boy, but the people I'm getting ready to feature on this beautiful, amazing show of ours, these people absolutely 100% are Baloney Boys. And it's gonna be for very obvious reasons once you see. You always say you don't want to interrupt me, but you drive right through it. What do you have to say? Jesus Christ.
No, I'm saying my mom brought up this in the conversation I had with her earlier.
I'm really glad that you and your mom had a fucking awesome conversation about everything Brass Tacks was going to cover today.
No, she brought up this as well. I'm just saying.
Well, maybe the old bitch needs to fucking buy a lottery ticket or something like that, because it sounds like she's clairvoyant.
Wow. That's news.
Fucking Jesus Christ. Oh, hey, I know we're in the middle of a fucking show real quick, but let me tell you what me and my mommy had to talk about today.
Well, no, it was a callback.
Did you tell your mommy you bought yourself a treat? You got your little Nintendo? You can take place in all the Hong Kong protests going on Animal Crossing?
Oh, that's another topic right there. I mean, I forgot to mention that with China. I mean, yeah, they took out, you can't have Animal Crossing or anything.
Well, yeah, if you live in China or any of the surrounding area there, like in a lot of those countries, you can't even purchase Animal Crossing on the Nintendo Play Store because it's fucking, there's this thing going on right now where a lot of people, especially Hong Kong residents that were unable, obviously they can't protest right now. They can't continue on, rioting out in the streets with this virus at hand. So they were holding protests in Animal Crossing. Like everybody's private islands and stuff like that were made over to have a lot of like anti-China rhetoric and stuff like that around the islands that they were congregating on. And it was really cool. People were holding like a virtual protest, which is a very cool idea in my opinion. But old Winnie the Pooh didn't like that too much, so he had to, in true big fat stupid baby fashion, he had to just pull it from the store so no one can enjoy it. I can't wait to watch that fat fucking piece of shit die in my lifetime. I'm so excited that I'm so much younger than him that I'm going to get to watch him die.
I agree. Like, he went to, because they just passed that thing in China, like maybe a year or less ago, where he's going to be in power for the rest of his life. They passed that.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, yeah. We're gonna let this guy. He must have shit on everyone, dude.
Of course he does.
Like, come on.
It would be silly to think any of these world leaders don't have a fucking hard drive full of life altering information on all these other people that they're in bed with.
Yeah.
The illusion of country is something. It's another monster of in itself in itself. I can't speak. I get so angry about this sometimes, but it's a whole nother monster. The thing is, it's the people that control the money that are actually dictating what happens in these countries. It's very rarely the actual leader themselves. In rare cases like North Korea or Russia or China, where this guy that is wielding all the power is out in the forefront, out in the spotlight. The same can't be said for like Donald Trump. He doesn't wield the same power that Xi Jinping wields over his country, and this absolute fucking you can't go against it system.
Right, because Donald Trump's gonna be gone. He gets elected, he's there for 4 years, and he could be there for another 4 years after that. But that's it.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like he's going to be able to pull some weird power move and stay in office forever. Could you imagine what would happen? I mean, people are already out in the streets in Michigan and around other places in America right now, and they're just bitching because they want to go back to work. If you tried to fucking steal the illusion of democracy from them, that is it.
Oh, yeah. It's more than just a medical mask at that point.
Yeah, dude. But let's get into this clip. I want to laugh again because the more we talk about China and what's going on and in terms of like how they're handling this whole virus situation and how the US is handling relations with other countries. It's going to keep pissing me off. All right, so this is a kind of like on the street broadcast that ABC 7 did here in Lansing, Michigan during these protests. And basically what's going on is all these people are taken to the streets because they want the cities or they want the state reopened so that they can get back to work. As we know, unemployment websites and social assistance websites are being inundated with claims, and they're just outright shutting down. People are running out of money. People are running out of supplies. People are running out of patience, more so than anything else. And everyone's turning to their local governments for an answer. But because this virus is still spreading and because so little is known about it still, even the people that are in charge are kind of sitting there with their thumbs up their asses because they've basically been exposed for the frauds that they are. And they've basically been exposed for the money laundering, embezzling fucking pieces of shit that they are. And people are tired of it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, well, let's think about the beginning when there was even the CDC was putting out masks don't help you. Masks don't wear a mask.
Yeah, that's another thing.
It's
all the disinfo.
It's not going to make a difference. That's from the CDC. Now they're saying, oh, well, yeah, actually, you should have a fucking mask on.
Yeah, and you should have been wearing one this entire time.
This whole time, you probably, might have been a good idea to put one on. Well, why did you say that in the beginning? Dude, so and you have the World Health Organization not acknowledging Taiwan.
Yeah, that's another thing, dude. What the fuck?
Kissing China's ass and not admitting that they fucked up. And that this wouldn't be a problem globally if they didn't fuck up because they're in the pockets of fucking China.
Yes.
Like, what? Yeah, again. Yeah, exactly. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? You have to call it like you see it.
Right. Well, that's the thing.
So obvious.
That's why the times we're living in are so dangerous because it's dangerous to have a dialogue like that. People, you're automatically relegated. Sure. You're automatically relegated to the area of being a racist or a bigot or something like that. If you discuss anything open and honestly that has to do with cultural differences or the potential threat of loose restrictions in one country versus another, China has to eventually be taken to task for what they've done. I mean, they consistently unleash fucking viruses and horse shit onto the planet on top of stealing all the world's technology and different like intellectual properties. Like, what the fuck are they really doing for anyone?
Yeah, right. The Chinese government.
Yeah.
Sure.
Not the. Of course, I'm not talking about the individual citizens. They're just as they're oppressed. They're the ones that are being sapped of all their resources, so that this handful of fucking idiots can get by.
I mean, it's the Chinese government is just. Yeah, they're nuts, dude. They've gone off the rockers, man.
And it sucks. Their citizens are victims. Their citizens are systematically victimized and just fucking oppressed and squeezed for every bit of resources that they have. It's insane.
100. Yeah, dude. I mean, it's just frustrating. Like, we wouldn't have this problem if that governmental structure didn't encourage like the. Not kind of covering up, but like sweeping it under the rug, trying to make sure, this doesn't get out, and then just to save face, and then knowing it's probably going to get out, and then, no one saves face, and now it's a global pandemic because, potentially this is what you just have terrible government power structure,
right?
The top down. How it works, it just doesn't work. You can't.
It's archaic.
You sell each other out, and the governor of Wuhan province stepped down. It wasn't, dude. Come on.
It had nothing to do with him. It had to do with the laboratory and the people that regulate the laboratories in which the fucking virus originated. That we know to be fact.
Right.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean. There's no bats. They don't eat bats at those wet markets. And it most likely came from a bat, and it came from Wuhan. So they were doing animal studies in that air and that that actual laboratory. Yeah. So there was documented evidence of one guy saying how he got peed on in the face one time. He had like quarantine himself for 2 weeks. Well, they were just playing fast and loose, man.
Well, that's the scary thing.
laboratories.
The scary thing is when you actually dig into the information itself about that laboratory in Wuhan and the people that were studying there and where they've studied in the past and where they traveled to and from during the initial outbreak and shit like that. There are a lot of like really greasy parallels, and kind of like what you brought up the other day, the fact that the Chinese government allowed flights out of the country and out of Wuhan as long as they were leaving the country and not traveling intercontinentally.
Yeah,
That right there points to massive scandal. This virus was intentionally released. Even if they didn't mean for the outbreak to happen, obviously they didn't mean for the outbreak to happen on their homeland, but they certainly meant to spread it.
They certainly weren't stopping it if it was going to spread elsewhere, right?
It's just too large of an oversight for it not to be on purpose.
I just, okay, yeah. And then they're like, well, yeah, you can leave like you just said, like you can leave the country, but you can't take a domestic flight. And, well, they knew what it was at that point, whether intentional or not intentional. Like at that point, it didn't matter. They knew what happened, and they fucking just fucked everyone else. They maybe had a game plan at that point, like you were saying, that they and everyone else got it. And also during that time, Chinese nationals that were abroad were, in Australia, it was very heavily done, America, Europe.
Right.
So they were giving a directive to like buy supplies, like buy masks and stuff like that, and send it back to China. That's before it was like a quarantine.
Oh,
issue,
yeah.
Before like people really realized it was in Europe.
Yeah, which is also just another scumfuck move.
The government gave a directive to send all that stuff back, like buy as much as you can, buy out those stores, and then send it back, because they knew it was going to be a problem in those countries. And then those countries are going to be screwed because they just shipped all this stuff back to China and stuff. So there's the writings on the wall for the most part, as maybe it was unintentional at first, maybe it wasn't.
But then there's a strategy in place.
As it progressed, exactly. There was, in my opinion, like, what I see, it seems like there was some sort of strategy.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say.
Start to dismantle things like on a more global scale.
Exactly, because once you destabilize the economy, then you have the opportunity to come in, and there's a multitude of different moves you can make to reach whatever objective that they're going after. Which, I mean, the entire planet's very vulnerable right now, and I don't see. That's the thing, is like you can't count on the nations of the world to just hang out, bide their time, and allow this to pass. Every developed nation on the planet right now is plotting and scheming on how they're going to profit from this and how they're going to destabilize other countries and get ahead. It's just so gross. It's so pervasive and disgusting.
Yeah, they're trying to. Yeah, they're just like kind of trying to play a game of chess while all this is going on. Because you got to think, it's maybe not intentional, but it's like if you're in like top government and this stuff happens, you're like, oh shit, what are people going to try to pull over on our country, vice versa? And everyone gets really paranoid. So everyone thinks like someone's going to try to make a move on everyone, and people are. We know countries are trying to do, certain jockeying things to intimidate other countries right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of posturing, and then the media is also not helping, because it's also just sending out this message that everyone should be like saber rattling against these other countries, and it's just stoking the fire. It all
boils down to paranoia. It just all boils down to paranoia,
which is profitable. I mean, paranoia is very, very profitable. Look at what we're seeing now.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's extremely profitable. Defense spending is something that is just. The people are just getting fucking britches of mug, dude.
Yeah. Well,
as those contractors.
Let's I know we keep breaking off into the China thing, but let's get some laughter in our lives and look at some of these silly gooses in Lansing. I just wanted to, like, before we got into the clip, I just wanted to clarify that, like, I understand people are fed up and people need to get back to work. So I'm not saying all these people protesting are gooses, but I am saying that the people featured are definitely gooses, because you know the mainstream media always has to go after the crazies and shit, or just the
geese.
dummies. Yeah. So let's get into this clip.
A lot of frustration out here on the streets. They wanted gridlock, and they are getting it. Cars as far as the eye can see.
Cars as far as the eye can see.
We're seeing a lot of signs out here as well that say, impeach dimwit, meaning Governor Whitmer, the guy with the cardboard sign. Usually I'm at work. Right now, a lot of people who are out of work are up here. Take a look over here. This guy runs a landscaping,
take a look over here.
Company here. And right behind that, take a look, the recallwhitmernow.com sign. Again, cars as far as the eye can see. People are telling us why they're out here today. Where are you from? What's your name and what brought you here?
My name is Mike Parrish. I'm from Bellevue, Michigan, and I'm for freedom.
What brought you here? What did you want to...
All right. Are you? You're for freedom.
He's wearing those dark pedophile sunglasses that double as like prescription lenses, and he's wearing a U.S. Army hat as well.
Yeah.
To be part of this.
Well, because I'm a veteran and I support the Republican Party and Donald Trump.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
That's why he's protesting. That's why he's doing that. Like this is something. This is a really big problem with certain things like this. When people protest, like the overall idea of this protest is a noble one. People have to get back to work so they can start providing for themselves and their families. This guy's just out there because basically, like, if you look deeper into what's happening in Lansing, you can see that a lot of these protests are being organized by like far right kind of like white nationalist movements, and this is the type of person that they're bringing out into these things. And of course, you know, the mainstream media is not going to interview anyone of sane mind and body, or like of sound mind and body. They're going to these assholes,
right?
And basically trying to paint the picture that this protest that's taking place is being led by like white supremacists, essentially. What the fuck are you doing?
I'm not doing anything. I agree with you. It's all. Yeah,
no, it's just a constant noise. What the fuck are you rolling around, beating on the desk?
No,
Jesus Christ. But yeah, this is the people that they're trying to say are out there on the streets. Like, this dude had no other reason than I support the Republican Party and Donald Trump. It's like it had nothing to do with him needing to work and him needing to provide.
No. Yeah, he's probably retired.
Well, yeah, definitely. Look at him. That dude's got to be every bit of like probably early mid 60s, something like that. He's I don't see any friends in the car with him.
Oh no, dude. Yeah, this guy's retired already. You know, he's just they had to grab this guy. Yeah, he's a Republican or whatever he's saying he is, but he's just going out there because he's got nothing better to do. Everyone's in a quarantine.
Yeah.
My name is Mike Parrish. I'm from Bellevue, Michigan.
Bellevue, Michigan.
And I'm for freedom.
What brought you here? Why did you want to be part of this?
Well, because I'm a veteran and I support the Republican Party and Donald Trump.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
Nonsense.
Stay safe. Let's talk with this gentleman with the signs. They say end the lockdown, open Michigan.
Oh no.
It's the fucking Pillsbury Doughboy in a track jacket.
Stop the tyranny. Who are you? Where are you from?
Hi, my name's Tracy Cross. I'm from White Cloud, Michigan. We came down and we just want to end the lockdown and use some common sense and get things back to normal. And it's just crazy, some of the stuff that's happening here. I've never seen anything like it.
You're out here without a mask, without gloves. You feel safe?
Yeah, I'm a Christian, so...
Of course. You're out here without masks and gloves and shit like that. Yeah, I'm a Christian. You fucking boner.
Are you serious?
Yeah, that's what he said. He said, well, you know, I'm a Christian.
Serious?
Yeah, here, let me run it back.
No, like...
Fucking asshole.
No, I heard... Yeah, like...
I hate his voice, too. His voice is infuriating.
Yeah, I'm a Christian, so most Christians, we don't believe in living in fear.
Are you?
You know, God's in control of everything, and
okay.
We just want to show our faith and get things back to normal.
I wish God would control his fucking blood sugar and give him diabetes and just drop him into a coma right now.
No, he has diabetes already. But what is he talking about? Well, okay, you get cancer 2 days from now. What? I mean,
Well,
so he was in control of that too, I guess, right?
I mean, if God's such a fucking awesome dude, why are you sitting here protesting lockdown in your state while a virus is ravaging the planet you live on? Where's that fair weather
Right.
deity that you pray to now?
That's what they like. They like that fair weather deity. Like,
Oh, he's got a plan. Does he? Does it involve you
No.
losing your fucking head in a high-speed accident? Because I hope
Right,
so.
I mean-
I can get behind that God.
right? Yeah. I mean, come on. This guy is. Yeah, he's off his rocker. I mean,
Well,
God
he's
has
a-
plan. What does that even mean?
he-
If the bubonic plague was like going on, you're saying the same thing? Like,
No, and you know he wouldn't. You know he wouldn't. This is you put a microphone and a camera in front of somebody and you get the most disingenuous fucking just unaware idiot that you could possibly imagine out of people. Like that this is what happens when you take to the street and try to do actual journalism. You're going to get this ignorant fucking nobody right here. This middle-aged man with tits and no chin ginger holding two signs saying that God's going to protect him from a virus. That's what you
Nice.
get. That's what's out here.
yeah, I agree.
All those
They've
fucking
asked a lot
horns.
of people to stay inside their cars. You can see this lady
Of course,
is
people
dressed up
aren't
as
staying
Uncle
inside their
Sam.
cars.
Oh, boy.
Social distancing, not house arrest. We can work safe. Let us, and right in front, stay back 6 feet. Low-income landscaper on board. A lot of frustration out here. A lot of horns. They're making
People
their
have loud
voices-
speakers and shit.
They're making their frustration heard. Big time. Live in Lansing, Jim Kirchner, 7 Action News. A lot of
Action news. I love the Midwest accent. It makes everything sound way less serious than it is.
Action news.
Down here in Lansing, Michigan, as you can see, there's cars as far as the eye can see. He's just downright ticked off. We walked over here to this guy's car. You know, he got out of his slick little buggy there and he told us how he felt. Well, you know, I believe in God and I think God's going to save me. No, he won't. No, he won't. Everyone there. I mean, I feel him. You got to have money to survive. You got to be able to work. But if you're going to go out there and protest, at least, I mean, these people need to be storming some fucking Capitol buildings and forcing people to allocate some money. That's what needs to be going on. On a local level, you should be storming government buildings right now. If you're going to go outside and you're going to pick it and you're going to ignore the stay-at-home order, at least do something productive like force them to find some money.
Yeah.
It's possible.
Got nothing to do with the God.
No, not at all. And that's the thing is like these people, I mean, you want to make fun of them so badly, but at the same time, it's like when you feel that helpless and your government's not doing anything about it, what else are you going to do? I mean, you got to get it out somehow. You can't just let it fester. You know, that's what this is all about. These people are sick of just sitting in their fucking houses and letting it fester.
Yeah, Uncle Fester, dude.
That's not what I was going for.
Oh, all right. I thought you were going for Uncle Fester.
No, I wasn't. I'm actually going for a hard out is what I'm going
Adam's
for.
fan. There's the Adams family, you know. Uncle Fester.
Nope, I already hit the button, dude. It's a hard out. It's a hard out. Thanks for joining us for another installment of the Brass Tacks Podcast. Make sure you follow all of our social media accounts. Brass Tacks Podcast on Facebook, The Real Brass Tacks on Instagram, Brass Tacks Pod on Twitter. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Brass Tacks Podcast. Give our videos a like. That helps us out a whole lot. If you have any suggestions for the show or anything you'd like covered, make sure you give us an email. Shoot us an email at therealbrasstacks@gmail.com. And I guess until next week, stay safe. Keep away from each other. Don't touch your hands. Don't touch your face. Don't touch your mouth. All that other bullshit. Don't get sick. Stay healthy and go fuck your mother.